In this lecture, we are going to continue our derivation. So in the last lecture, we had discussed that a parent nuclei, if it decays to daughter nuclei, which is completely stable. So in that case, N1 it is given by N0 into e power minus lambda 1t, and N2, which is the number of daughter nucleides which are formed in the sample, it is given by N0 into 1 minus e power minus lambda 1t. So this is for the case when daughter nuclei is completely stable. But when daughter nuclei it is not stable, so this daughter nuclei it will further decay into the second daughter nuclei. So if in a sample parent we have thousands of parent nucleides, and from thousands of parent nuclei 500 nucleides they have decayed to the first daughter nucleide, and from those 500 daughter nucleides which have formed, around 250 have decayed to second daughter nucleide. So it is important to find the number of first daughter nucleide which are present in this sample. If this daughter nuclei was completely stable, at any time we can easily find what is the number of daughter nucleides. So if there are 1000 parent nucleides in a sample at time t equal to 0, so after some time 500 have decayed to daughter nucleides. So if this daughter nuclei is completely stable, that is this is the case when daughter nuclei is completely stable, so the number of daughter nuclei at that time will be equal to 500, because 500 parent nuclei they have decayed to daughter nuclei. So at that time 500 daughter nucleides will be present in the sample. So that is given by this formula. We subtract the total parent nucleides at time t equal to 0, and we subtract this term. So this term is the number of parent nuclei which are still present in this sample, that is they are not decayed. So the subtraction it will give us the number of daughter nuclei which have formed in the sample. Now if the first daughter nuclei it is not stable, so it will also further decay. So it is important to find what is the expression of number of first daughter nucleides at any time t. So the formula will be very different from this formula. So this we had done in the last lecture. The activity, or you can say dn1 by dt, which is the rate of disintegration, it is given by minus lambda into n. This formula we had done in the previous lectures, that dn by dt is equal to minus lambda into n. So this disintegration rate it depends upon the number of nucleides which are present in the sample at that time. So dn1 by dt will be equal to minus lambda 1 into n1 for the case of parent nuclei, and n1 it is the number of parent nuclei which are present in the sample at time t. So the rate at which the daughter nucleides they are formed, it will be equal to plus lambda 1 into n1, because if the parent nuclei is decaying, the daughter nuclei is getting formed. So the rate at which the daughter nucleides they will be formed due to this first decay process, it will be equal to opposite of this. So this is minus lambda 1 n1, and minus is because parent nuclei are decreasing, but daughter nuclei they are increasing due to this first decay process. Therefore we have plus lambda 1 into n1, and this factor was due to the further decay of this daughter nuclei. Now this daughter nuclei it decays to another daughter nuclei with the decay constant lambda 2. So lambda 2 is the decay constant of this daughter nuclei. So it will decay according to this decay constant, and that will be the rate at which the daughter nuclei they will decrease will be minus lambda to n2. So this comes from this formula, that when there is a decrease, when there is a decay of any nuclei, it decays by minus lambda into capital N. So therefore we have minus lambda to n2, and here we have plus lambda 1 n1, because the daughter nuclei it is getting formed because of first decay process, and it is decreasing due to the second decay process. Therefore here we have positive sign, and here we have negative sign. So now we will evaluate what will be the expression of n2 from this equation. So first of all we will take n2 on the left hand side. Here also we have n2. So this n2 is this is dn2 by dt, that is rate at which the number of daughter nuclei, they are decreasing. Number of first daughter nucleides which are decreasing, that is dN2 by dt, and this N2, it is the number of daughter nucleides which are present in the sample at that particular time. So with the time, the daughter nuclei, they are decaying and they are also getting formed. So this N2, it gives us the current value of the number of daughter nuclei which are present in the sample. So we will take this term minus lambda to N2 on the left hand side, and you will get dN2 by dt plus lambda to N2. It will be equal to lambda 1 into N1. Now we will multiply to solve this equation for N2, because we have to find the expression of N2, the number of daughter nucleides, first daughter nuclei which are present in the sample at any time t. So to find that, we have to solve this equation. First of all, what we will do is we will multiply on the left hand side and on the right hand side by e power lambda 2t. So multiplying by e power lambda 2 into t. By this factor we will multiply on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. So what we will get? We will get dN2 by dt into e power lambda 2t plus lambda 2 into N2, this factor into e power lambda 2 into t. So this will be equal to lambda 1 into N1 into e power lambda 2 t. Now this term on the left hand side, it can be written as, here we have dN2 by dt into differentiation of N2 with respect to time into e power lambda 2t, plus we have lambda 2 N2 into e power lambda 2t. So these terms, they can be clubbed and can be written as d by dt of N2 into e power lambda 2t. So these two terms, they can be written in the differentiation form. So differentiation of N2 into e power lambda 2t with respect to time, it will just give us these two terms. So you can use the formula of differentiation of two functions. This N2, it is also dependent upon time, and this is also dependent upon time. So first of all, you will do the differentiation of first and second will remain as it is. So differentiation of first and second will remain as it is. Then plus first will remain as it is and differentiation of second function. So differentiation of this function will be e power lambda 2t into lambda 2. So when you will open this differentiation, when you will solve this differentiation, you will get this left hand side. So this left hand side, it can be clubbed in this manner. So this will be equal to the right hand side, which is lambda 1 and N1. Now what is N1? It is the number of parent nuclei which are undecayed in the sample at time t. So N1, it will be given by N0. So for the first parent nuclei, let's say this is the parent nuclei and number of parent nuclei at time t equal to 0. Here we had taken as N0, but for simplicity we will take as N10. So this denotes the number of parent nuclei. This is nothing but equal to N0. So this will represent the number of parent nuclei we are talking about. We have written over here 1. So this will represent the number of parent nuclei, total number of parent nuclei at time t equal to 0. So this represents total number of parent nuclei at time t equal to 0. So therefore we have written 1 over here so that you do not get confused that what is N0. So N0, it can be number of parent nuclei at time t equal to 0. It can also be number of daughter nuclei at time t equal to 0. So we have just, to remove this confusion, we have just replaced this N0 with N10. So this will represent the number of parent nuclei at time t equal to 0 into e power minus lambda 1t. It will remain as it is. So this is how the parent nuclei will decay. So here we have N1 and N1 can be replaced by this formula. So lambda 1 will remain as it is and you will have N1 0 into e power minus lambda 1 t. This is the expression of n1 into e power lambda 2t. It will remain as it is. So the right hand side, this exponentials, they can be clubbed with each other. So they can be written as lambda 1 into n10 into e power, we are clubbing the powers, so you will get lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t. So this is the right hand side that you will get. So this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. So now the next step will be doing the integration on both sides. So this was the last expression that we had got. Now next step will be to take the integration. So taking integration on both sides. So integrating on both sides, on the left hand side you will get simply the integration with respect to time, it will cancel with the differentiation. So taking the integral on both sides, you will get n2 into e power lambda 2 into t. So this you will get on the left hand side after taking the integration, because integration it will cancel with the differentiation. So this will be equal to lambda 1 into n10 into, this is the constant, so this can be taken out of the integral. Now you have to do integration of this term with respect to the time variable. So integration of this e power ax, this is e power ax, so integration of e power ax is equal to e power ax divided by a. So here also you will get e power lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t divided by lambda 2 minus lambda 1. So this is the integral without limits. This integral, it has been done without limits. So there will be a constant term which will be added. So let's say that is c prime. So constant is always added when you do the integration, when the limits are unknown to us. So therefore we add a constant of integration. So let's see what is this constant of integration. So this constant, it can be found putting, so put time t equal to 0. So when time t equal to 0, what is n2? N2, it is the number of daughter nucleides which are present at any time t. So we are talking about time t equal to 0. So n2 at time t equal to 0 is equal to 0. So there are only parent nucleides which are present at time t equal to 0. So there is no daughter nuclei at time t equal to 0. So this condition we had taken by ourselves. So we are supposing this condition from ourselves, that at time t equal to 0, there is no daughter nuclei. All nucleides which are present in the sample, they are of parent nucleide. So in that case, n1 will be equal to n10. So the parent nuclei when t is equal to 0 is equal to n10, which is the maximum number, and simultaneously there is no daughter nuclei. So n2 at t is equal to 0 will be equal to 0. So now in this equation we will, to find c prime, we will put t is equal to 0. So here we have time t equal to 0, here we have t. So we will put t is equal to 0 over here, here also we will put, and here n2, here we have n2, so n2 will be equal to 0. So the left hand side will be equal to 0 at time t equal to 0. So at this time, the left hand side will be equal to 0. This will be equal to lambda 1 into n10. So here we have e power lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into 0. So that will give you e power 0, which will be 1. So divide by lambda 2 minus lambda 1 plus c prime. So this is the constant of integration. Therefore constant, it will come out to be equal to minus. So from this equation you can calculate c prime. So c prime will be equal to minus of lambda 1 divided by lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into n10. So n10, keep in mind, this is the number of parent nucleides which are present in the sample at time t equal to 0. So this is the constant of integration. So this equation, we will rewrite this equation and we will put the constant that we have evaluated. So this is the constant that we have evaluated. So we will rewrite this equation. You will get n2 into e power lambda 2t is equal to lambda 1 into n10 into e power lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t over lambda 2 minus lambda 1 plus c prime, and c prime is minus lambda 1 over lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into n1 0. So now we will take the common things. The common terms are lambda 1 into n1 0 over lambda 2 minus lambda 1. So n2 into e power lambda 2t, it will be equal to lambda 1 into n1 0 over lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into e power lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t minus 1. So we have taken the common term and we have rewritten this equation. So what is the main motive of this derivation is to find n2, the number of daughter nucleides at any time t, the number of daughter nucleides which are present in the sample at any time t. So we have to find this n2. So we will take e power lambda 2t on the right hand side, or you can say you multiply by e power minus lambda 2t on both the sides. So here also you multiply by e power minus lambda 2t, and on the right hand side also you multiply by e power minus lambda 2t. So on the left hand side you will just get n2, so which is the number of daughter nuclei in the sample at any time t. So on the left hand side you will get n2, and on the right hand side also you will multiply by this term. So this is the constant term, we will write it as it is, divide by lambda 2 minus lambda 1 and in the bracket. So here first of all you will multiply by e power minus lambda 2t. So here you have e power lambda 2t, here you already have e power lambda 2t. So when you will multiply by e power minus lambda 2t, that will be equal to 1. So you will be just left with e power minus lambda 1t in the first term. So lambda 2t and minus lambda 2t, they will cancel with each other. So you will just get e power minus lambda 1 into t, and minus you will multiply e power minus lambda 2t here also. So you will simply get e power minus lambda 2t. So this is the expression of the number of daughter nucleides which are present in the sample at any time t, when the first daughter nuclei, it is not stable, it also decays, and the disintegration constant or the decay constant of the daughter nuclei is given by lambda 2, and lambda 1, it is the disintegration constant or the decay constant of the parent nucleide. So this was the expression that we had got for the number of daughter nuclei which are present in the sample at any time t, when the daughter nuclei is not stable and it further decays to another daughter nucleide. So this is the formula for the number of daughter nucleides. Now we are going to consider the various cases. First is when the parent nuclei is extremely long lived as compared to the daughter nuclei. The parent nuclei that we had considered, whose decay constant was lambda 1. So that parent nuclei is extremely long lived as compared to the daughter nuclei in which it decays. So what happens when there is this condition? So what will be the formula that we will get? So this is the general formula. So this one is the general formula to find the number of daughter nuclei. But now when the parent, it is extremely long lived, so we will see what form this formula will take. So for extremely long lived parent, so extremely long lived means they exist for a very large time as compared to the daughter nuclei. So they have a very high or very large half-life as compared to the half-life of the daughter nucleide. So we have already seen the concept of half-life. So if any nuclei, it is extremely long-lived as compared to another, that means the half-life of that nuclei, it is very large, is extremely large as compared to the half-life of another nuclei which we are talking about. Here we are comparing the parent nuclei and the first daughter nuclei in which it is decaying. So here the parent nuclei, it is extremely long lived. So let's say T1 is the half life of parent nuclei and T2 is the half life of the daughter nuclei in which it is decaying. So we had taken one parent nuclei, it decays to first daughter nuclei, and first daughter nuclei it further decays to second daughter nuclei. So T1 is the half-life of parent nuclei and T2 is the half-life of this first daughter nuclei. So they correspond to these nuclei. So we are not talking about the second daughter nuclei. So we have never talked about in this article about the second daughter nuclei. We are just talking about parent and the first daughter nuclei. So half-life of T1, it is very greater as compared to the half-life of first daughter nuclei. So this is the first assumption, first case that we are looking at. So means T1 is very greater than T2. So this is the half-life, and we know half-life, it is related to the decay constant. So what is the relation? Half-life is equal to 0.693 divided by lambda. So this is the formula that we have already done, that more the half-life, less will be lambda. So they are inversely proportional. So if T1 is very greater than T2, which means lambda 1 will be very less than lambda 2, because they are inversely proportional. So T is inversely proportional to lambda. If the parent nuclei is extremely long lived, then the decay constant will be very less. So lambda 1 will be very less than lambda 2. So what will be the form that this formula will take when lambda 1 is very less as compared to lambda 2? So here we have this term e power minus lambda 1 t. So e power minus lambda 1 t, in that case when lambda 1 is very less than lambda 2, so this term it can be put approximately equal to 1, because lambda 1 it is very less than lambda 2. So this term it can be approximately put equal to 1, because lambda 1 is very small. So this will be approximately equal to 1, and here also we have another term which is lambda 2 minus lambda 1. So lambda 2 minus lambda 1, what will be? This can be approximately put equal to, so lambda 1 is very less, so this lambda 1 it can be ignored. So this will be approximately equal to lambda 2. So for the case of extremely long lived parent, e power minus lambda 1 t will be approximately equal to 1, and lambda 2 minus lambda 1 it will be approximately equal to lambda 2. So what will be this equation in that case? So n2t in that case will be equal to lambda 1 into n10, it will remain as it is, and in the denominator we have lambda 2 minus lambda 1 which is equal to lambda 2, that is approximately equal to lambda 2, and in the brackets we have this approaches to 1, so therefore this will be 1 minus e power minus lambda 2 into t. So this is the form of the equation when we have extremely long lived parent. Now if we are finding the number of daughter nuclei for the extremely long lived parent, if we are finding this number of daughter nuclei in the sample at a time t which is very greater than T2. So the another condition we are putting over here. So this is the condition of extremely long lived parent, and this equation we will get for the number of daughter nuclei in this particular case. Now again we are using another approximation, that we are looking at the number of daughter nuclei at a particular instant of time which is very greater than T2. Now T2 it is the half-life of the first daughter nuclei. So let's say this is in minutes. So let's say T2 is in minutes. So we are looking at a time which is after some months. So we are looking in the sample after some months where T2 is the half-life of the daughter nuclei, and let's say this is in minutes. So if this is in minutes and time at which we are looking at the sample to find N2, that is in months, so T will be very greater than T2 in that case. So this is the next approximation the next assumption that we are making, that the time at which we are observing the number of daughter nuclei in the sample, that time is very greater than half-life of the first daughter nuclide. So in that case, this factor e power minus lambda 2t, now e power minus lambda 2t, it can be written as e power minus 0.693 divided by t2, which is the expression of lambda 2, because t is equal to 0.693 by lambda. So lambda can be taken as 0.693 by capital T. So here I have put the expression of lambda 2, which will be 0.693 by t2 into t. So in this term, if I will use this assumption that time is very greater than t2, so t will be very greater, it will be very large as compared to capital T2. So this will approach to infinity. So this term, it will approach to infinity because t is very greater than t2. So this term will approach to infinity, and we have minus sign over here, and e power minus infinity, this will approach to 0. So e power minus lambda 2t, when time t is considered, which is very greater than the half-life of the first daughter nuclei, in that case e power minus lambda 2 into t, it will approach to 0. So this formula that we have got, this will reduce to n2 at any time t will be equal to, now this time where we are finding the daughter nuclei, it is for the time which is very greater than t2. So this n2 will be equal to lambda 1 into n10 over lambda 2, and here we will have 0, we will put 0 over here, so you will get 1 minus 0, which will be just equal to 1. So n2 at any time t, which is very greater than t2, that will be equal to lambda 1 into n10, this is also constant, and in the denominator you will get just lambda 2, which is also constant. So this number of first daughter nuclei in the sample, when the parent nuclei is extremely long lived and the time where we are finding, or the time at which we are observing the number of daughter nuclei is very greater than t2, in that case, now clubbing these two conditions, so this is the first condition and this is the second condition that we had put. So on clubbing these two conditions, the number of daughter nuclei in the sample, they will become constant. So this is equal to lambda 1 n10 into lambda 2. So this is a constant value. So the next case is of relatively long lived parent. And one more thing, this first case, here we have reached a constant value. So this is called as the state of equilibrium, and this state of equilibrium is called as secular equilibrium or permanent equilibrium. So here we have reached a constant value of the number of daughter nuclei after some time. So it comes out to be a constant value. So this state of equilibrium, it is called as secular or permanent equilibrium. Now second case is of relatively long lived parent. Here we had extremely long lived parent. The half-life of parent is very greater as compared to that of the daughter nuclei. Here the parent, it will be long lived as compared to that of daughter, but it will be almost comparable. Here it was very greater as compared to the half-life of daughter, or you can say lambda 1 was very less as compared to lambda 2, but in case of relatively long lived parent, lambda 1, it will be less than lambda 2, but it will be almost comparable. It will be almost comparable, but it will be less than, somewhat less than lambda 2. So here it was very less than lambda 2, here it is less than lambda 2, it is almost comparable. So what will be n2 in that case? So after some time has elapsed, then e power minus lambda 2t. Now lambda 2, it is greater than lambda 1. So lambda 2, it is greater value as compared to lambda 1. So as time will pass, as time will increase e power minus lambda 2 into t, this term it will become negligible, because lambda 2 it is greater than lambda 1. So e power minus lambda 1 into t it will not become negligible, but first e power minus lambda 2 t term it will start becoming negligible, because it is lambda 2 is greater, and as time will increase, so this term it will approach to infinity, and e power minus infinity it will approach to 0. So in that case, what will be the formula of the daughter nucleides? N2t it will be equal to lambda 1 into N10 divided by lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into e power minus lambda 1 into t minus 0. So the time, after some time has elapsed, this term it can be taken as negligible, because lambda 2 is greater than lambda 1. So first this term it will become negligible. So e power minus lambda 1 into t will not become negligible because lambda 1 is less, lambda 2 is more. So as time will increase, this term it will approach to infinity. So this is the formula that we will get for the case of relatively long-lived parent. And you can see over here, this term is constant, this is completely constant. So the daughter nuclei it decays exponentially. So as we had seen in the starting of the lecture, that N1t, which is the number of parent nuclei which are left in the sample, that is equal to N10 into e power minus lambda 1t. So the decay of parent nuclei is exponential with decay constant as lambda 1. Here when you have put this condition of lambda 1 minus lambda 1 is less than lambda 2, in this case you will get this constant value, and you will get e power minus lambda 1t, and e power minus lambda 2t it will approach to 0. So you will get this term over here. So this is a constant value, which means the number of daughter nuclei, they will decay exponentially with the same decay constant as that of the parent nucleide. So the parent nucleide it has a decay constant of lambda 1. Here also we have lambda 1. So in this condition of relatively long-lived parent, the decay of daughter nuclei is exponentially with the same decay constant as that of the parent nuclei. So this also decays by e power minus lambda 1t, and daughter nuclei in this case will also decay by this same factor e power minus lambda 1 into t, which is the decay constant of parent nuclei. And this condition of equilibrium is called as transient equilibrium. So this state is called as transient equilibrium when the decay of the daughter nuclei is exponential with the same decay constant as that of the parent nucleide. And you can do a little modification in this equation. Here we have N10 into e power minus lambda 1t, which is nothing but equal to N1t. So this N10 into e power minus lambda 1t, it is nothing but equal to N1t. So this term is nothing but equal to N1 into t. So this term, you can replace this by N1t. So on the left hand side you have N2 into t. This is equal to lambda 1 over lambda 2 minus lambda 1, which is constant, into N1 into t. So the ratio of, which employs the ratio of N2 over N1 at any time t is constant. So ratio of the daughter nucleide and that of the number of parent nucleide at any time t is constant for the case when the parent is relatively long lived, and this condition is called as transient equilibrium.